Isaiah Bugs. He scrubbed all his Twitter of all Detroit Lions content. Was putting out some tweets.
Some cryptic tweets.
Yeah, some cryptic tweets.
Subtweeting.
At one point, quote tweeted Chris Jones. Cause I feel you, brother. Whatever the hell he had to say on that one. It was all emojis, actually talk type shit. But made people think Chris Jones was coming to Detroit. I don't know what the hell was going on. That shit was crazy.
I don't know what's happening.
Speculation was running wild with that stuff.
Brad's doing something. Because he was told that he's not playing on Thursday. Isaiah Bugs.
Yeah.
Will not play on Thursday. And that's like...
Oh, so you still bought in something happened?
Something's happening.
Okay.
Why would it just be he's not playing on Thursday? Like, he's a good player.
Yeah.
He is a rotational piece for the defensive line. He was arguably a starter. Like, he more than likely would have been starting next to Lee McNeil. He's a motivational piece. He's a guy who brings hype in the team. And to just tell him he's not playing on Thursday, something's happening.
So you still bought in on like a trade or something?
Yeah, if he's not playing on Thursday, I doubt he plays for the Lions this year.
I mean, it's been, as much as I'd love to like just dead that because I don't want to like get myself excited for nothing.
What else would it be?
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I've read some stuff briefly, Dave Burkett, that it could be related to like him missing OTAs. But this is a guy that they just re-signed to a 2-year deal. Started 13 games for you last year. I think everybody should remember, if they don't, the turnover he had against Dalvin Cook against the Vikings at home, which was a big one. That was a momentum shift for sure for the Detroit Lions in that game. It is weird. It is weird. I was going to go with along with the lines of maybe there's some improvement alongside Levon Enrique, who they took in the second round, to a 2020 draft or 2021 draft. I apologize. Maybe some improvement along our guy, Big Broderick Martin, or maybe Benito Jones. I mean, Dan Campbell did speak of them getting better, but I don't know if it's enough to like completely take this guy out of the game. Spinny, I don't think you're wrong.
We haven't heard any like injury news.
We're making fun of Lee Court, so we're like doing the same shit.
We haven't heard any injury news. No updates. No him missing practices. Nothing like that. And the team didn't make a statement on it. It's not like Dan Campbell or Brad Holmes came out and said, hey, Isaiah Bugs isn't going to play on Thursday because of blah, blah, blah. And they would. If it's something like that, this is a guy, he's a serious rotation piece for that defensive line. He's a good player on that defensive line. They would have came out and said something.
Do you think it's a possible like disciplinary situation or no?
You don't scrub your social media of a team's name, of anything involving a team that gave you a chance and signed you to a 2-year extension because of a disciplinary action.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
Unless, maybe he's an emotional guy.
Yeah, unless he disagrees.
Unless he's just butthurt, I guess. But no, all of the signs point towards something happening, something in the works.
We also do have some breaking news about Travis Kelce. After test, Chiefs believe that Travis Kelce's ACL is intact. Schefter said that test Wednesday will determine availability for the opener.
Yeah, he's not playing. If you're doing tests to make sure his ACL's intact, he's not playing in 2 days.
Yeah.
But the bug stuff, the most reasonable like outcome of this situation is that he's getting traded for something.
Wow.
Am I crazy to say that?
I don't think you're crazy. I mean, that's where everything was like headed towards in the first place.
That's what everything points towards.
Mike Evans?
If it's Mike Evans or Chris Jones,
I don't think it's Chris Jones.
I don't think so either.
Not for any reason that it's too good to be true. The Chiefs just don't want to get rid of Chris Jones. Yeah. They've made that clear. I think he would have moved by now. We saw that happen with Tyreek Hill just last year. What do you think it is, Chris?
I definitely don't think it's Chris Jones because ultimately a contender's not going to get rid of one of their best 3 pieces unless they're getting 8 great pieces in return. Those kind of trades just don't happen. I don't see it. I think I don't want to say it's Mike Evans either, but it's definitely something certain because you got to understand that in order to pull a player from a game and not put him in the game, that deal's got to be at the goal line. I'm just kind of curious as to why we heard about this days ago and it's not finalized yet. I kind of expected it to be finalized within 12 to 24 hours of that report. So I gotta wonder what the finalization of the deal is going to be. But that's what I expected. It's got to be a deal because the team that's acquiring Bugs isn't going to want him to get injured in a game that he's not even playing for them.
Yep.
So it makes sense why he's out. I'm kind of confused as to why it's been so long without the deal in
been
place.
so long.
Literally thought the same thing.
But if it's disciplinary or an injury, you think
it's
they
injury.
would have said
They
something.
disclose it.
It's nothing an injury due to the fact that he scrubbed his Twitter. Like, you don't. He's healthy to play. He spoke with the media himself. Dan Campbell said he spoke with the media about it too. Dan Campbell said they had the conversations. Dan Campbell related to, like, we put everything on tape. But for Bugs to be this upset about it, I just don't see that. Like, I don't know, man. I guess I feel like it's more disciplinary if I'm being, like, realistic. But I'm definitely not counting out the idea of a trade or anything of that sort. I mean, I don't know. Are you guys confident in Levi or Broderick or even Benito, like, outplaying him to this point for this to even be a thing? Can you even see that?
No.
I can't either.
I mean, the potential of them, sure. The potential of a Levi, the potential of a Broderick Martin surpassing what Bugs is, but you know what Bugs is. You know what he did last year. You know he's a solid NFL player. So
In the nighttime.
I just don't see it, man. I don't see it.
With this, though, Easy, I got to challenge the disciplinary thing because at the end of the day, when you look at it, Dan Campbell has always been very transparent with the media. So this would be
That's
one
fair.
thing that would be uncharacteristic for him to be transparent about. Now, he doesn't have to say what the exact disciplinary issue is, but if you're telling J-Mo he's got to work on his hands, he doesn't have the greatest hands and all of this, how are you not going to say, yeah, it's an in-house matter with Isaiah Bugs and keep it at that? That just doesn't fit the Dan Campbell MO. So that's why I got to believe it's a trade.
I don't necessarily disagree with that, and he did hint towards the hey, whatever conversation that he and I had was between us, but I don't know, Spinny. Tell us what you guys say real quick.
I'll tell you about the newest show coming to Woodward Sports, and it starts tonight, and that is
In the nighttime.
Booner and Broder, Woodward Nights in the nighttime. Make sure you guys check out Booner and Broder weekdays from 8 to 10 p.m. premiering tonight. Make sure you guys show out for the boys. They're going to put in a lot of work. It's going to be a great show. Shout out to Jalen. Shout out to Nick. Shout out to Booner. Shout out to Broder. The best show in the nighttime in Detroit is coming to Woodward Sports. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Miss JB today dearly, because honestly, I want to take some calls on this. I want to know what you guys think. Is it truly a performance thing? I just don't. This, again, for him to be that upset, I don't know. Like you said, Chris, Dan Campbell's fairly transparent, and not just with us in the media, but with his players especially. That's one of the things they love about him. You saw it during Hard Knocks cut last year. They respect the way the Detroit Lions go about it and the way the situation was handled. Outside of, like, Terrell Crosby and maybe there's one other person, I've never seen anybody this upset with Dan Campbell. And I feel like if he was prone to losing playing time, that conversation would have been had before this week. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like he would have seen the writing on the wall. Because for him to be this upset, either he's a very emotional person, which isn't necessarily out of the cards. His Twitter name's Pooh Bear or something like that.
Yeah, Big Pooh or something like that.
Or this was just he was hit with this on the spot. Or maybe it's something it was putting in the rule book for disciplinary action, and he skipped over it, thinking he's got his new 2-year deal, and they're continuing this year, or maybe just skipped over the rule itself. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know what it could have been that triggered this. The amount of again, scrubbing the team name, your pitchers, like all that stuff. It's just there's a lot.
That's clearly upset and just emotions. So I think it's definitely something that has Isaiah Bugs upset, but I just can't see it being disciplinary because it just doesn't seem like it's Dan Campbell's MO.
So if it's a trade, are you entertaining the Mike Evans thing?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Totally entertaining it. If it is a trade, if that is the situation, I could definitely see that happening.
And this guy hasn't necessarily been wrong yet because it hasn't taken place, but the latest update I heard on it is there's agreement in place. I think I told you this weekend, but Mike Evans has agreed to the deal. But I also read something today too that Mike Evans is reconsidered his extension with the Bucks due to their financial situations, and they're still talking it out. So who knows? Who knows? But maybe that agreement in place, Isaiah Bugs is a part of it.
We'll see. I can't think of any other reason for it. Because like you said, if it was disciplinary, if it was performance-based, if it was injury-based, they would have said something about it. They would have told us something. They would have told the people something. They would have told the public something. But nothing has been said on why it happened.
Vincent Law says Bugs also missed a practice before a big game due to illness. Missing practice might have tipped the scale because they need full attention to detail. Maybe. I don't know. Because I do have a hard time believing that, like, no disrespect to Benito Jones. He was, like, one of my favorite guys to watch in preseason last year especially. But, like, I have a hard time believing that Benito's, like, surpassed him in terms of, like, on-field production. Chris?
I do want to ask this, and this is probably a topic in a discussion in and of itself, but if you are trading Isaiah Bugs for, say, a Mike Evans or just an offensive weapon, think about how crazy that conversation would have been had a year ago to trade a defensive weapon on this team for an offensive weapon. It shows a lot of the growth in this team and a lot of the transformation that this team has had over the last couple of years. And is that something you're comfortable with, trading a defensive piece? Are you that confident in your defense to sacrifice a depth piece in order to get something to help on the offensive side of the ball, if that's what it is?
That's the thing with the depth piece. Is like depth is a luxury more than it is like a need. But like wide receiver feels like as much as that offense performed top 5 last year, as with the DJ Chark along in it, and we don't have that right now. At least we know they don't feel that way. They've been rumored to call for certain weapons, so we'll see.
We'll see.